I do have stuff to talk about. In season 19, episode 16, I think, of I Should Be Writing, we're going to be talking about the question I get asked most as a writer.
But I should be writing. I should be working on my craft. I should be writing. I should be submitting my next draft. But I'm sitting home watching Doctor Who.
Hi there, welcome to I Should Be Writing. This is the podcast for wannabe fiction writers, and I am your host, Mur Lafferty. I'm a podcaster, and an author, and an editor, and I do lots of science fiction and talking about writing. That's me. If you want to learn more about me, you can go to murverse.com. I usually start every show with talking about what I've been up to, which is going to be mostly the topic of this show, so I'll be brief here and say that my current project, my novella, is going along. I did get my copy edits back for my novel Chaos Terminal, so I'm going to need to be fitting that into my schedule in the next couple of weeks. For those of you listening in March of 2023, I will be taking off the last week of the month. Possibly next week as well. We'll see how my brain goes. But I've got some personal stuff, some travel stuff, some family stuff to deal with. So, yeah, it's 2 weeks away, and already I'm just kind of getting boggled. So, but I did get writing done, and I did get some outlining done today, so I'm happy about that. I'm starting to see the pattern of the first couple of days of the week feel like losses because I just can't focus. And then by the time like Wednesday and Thursday come around, I'm going better. I wonder if my week should be Wednesday through Sunday. That would be weird because it wouldn't jive with anybody else. So, let's talk about good news. I don't think I have any. I don't have any bad news, just don't have any news. Sometimes that's good. You know, because stressful things can be quite... No, wait, let me switch that around. Good things can be quite stressful. But, I don't have any news. If you guys have any news, rejections, acceptances, anything you want to mention, say it in the chat or email me later, mightymur@gmail.com, and I'll bring it up at the next recording. I wrote a screenplay for a short horror film and actually filmed it this past weekend. That's awesome, Devo Spice. Great. Excellent news. Underpope got 3 rejections. Awesome. It doesn't look like my, Oh, wait. Hey, it's working! Oh my god! Hello, RothMG. My Kickstarter pre-order campaign went live yesterday. I'm already up to 30% funded. That's fantastic! Yeah, Kickstarters are exciting and scary. That's great. Yeah, I'll be interested to see this one go out. This story go out, because it will be, you know, it's something that's not contracted, and I don't know if it'll sell. Sort of good news. The progress to replacing an old drain pipe is going well. Excellent. I'll give a couple more seconds to see if anybody wants to put any in. Otherwise, I will move on. I do want to take this moment to talk about the new books I have coming in, because there are more books here than I have time to read, but I do want to mention them on the show. Did I miss Meerkats? Thank you, Lee. Meerkat got 2 rejections. Fantastic. Oh, and Underpope got into Codex. That's great. So much excitement. Is the A button working? There we go. But I am pretty sure I have the new Matt Wallace Savage book in my mailbox. So I'm hoping to get that either today or tomorrow. But anyway, remember, you can send me your good news, and remember to celebrate the rejections because they mean you're a working writer and you're getting tough. And there's so many people who are too afraid to do what you have the bravery to do, so celebrate that. And be kind to yourself because we know it does suck. So I was looking at my outline, my timeline of my current novella. Because I got a lot of it mapped out in Eon Timeline, the software. And it's got a lot of half-siblings in it. And so I had to have not only the history of the organization that's going to be antagonist? I don't know. I'm not sure. But anyway, there's an organization in there, and I had to get that history into the timeline. And then I had to get all of the half-siblings and their parents' marriages into the timeline. And then I had to get the presumed... I had to actually try to get an outline, but I hate outlining. I've told you guys that. And one thing I did was I went through another mystery novella and tried to put all the plot points down and see the pacing. And in doing so, I realized that it's got a little bit of time travel in it. And so we have people trying to avoid X, and in doing so, they cause Y to happen. Sometimes stories go, they try to avoid X, and by doing that, make X happen. But I'm going the other way. I'm going, you push the bubble down here, and another bubble pops up over there that you weren't anticipating. And I suddenly realized that I had it completely backwards. Like the thing that they were initially trying to prevent was catastrophic. And the thing that they ended up making happen was not that bad on a global level. And I realized that's not how Western stories are told. You do the kind of bad thing and then it gets worse. This is like, the Power Rangers showing up to the first battle with the entire Zord mech. I don't remember what it's called. I know they were Zords. What was the Megazord? Megazord? Anyway, I always wondered why they just didn't show up with all of their glory and ships and making the big old transformer and just like step on the little bad guys and then, go have a coffee or something because they're done. But that's not how stories go. They go, little bad thing, worst thing, worst thing, worst thing. And in doing so, I felt this really good sense of peace and satisfaction, like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. I feel good about this. And even while realizing that I was going to have to rework some stuff again. And as I was doing that, I was thinking about people asking writers questions. Everybody always tells me that either, where do you get your ideas, or I've got an idea, how about I tell it to you and you write it and we split it 50-50. Happens a lot. I haven't had many of those. I've gotten people try to sell me, I've had cab drivers try to sell me their self-published book in their cab, which was awkward. But I really haven't had a lot of people asking me to do the majority of the work for their golden idea. So, sorry. Underpopes only had to happen once, okay. But what I do get, and I don't know how to answer, is how long does it take you to write a book? And I've been even up to this year, I've been naively thinking, well, if I get 1,000 words done a day, then I'll have 90,000 by 90 days, so I can write a book in 3 months. But that's not how it works. That's not... I don't know if anybody else works that way, but if you've been listening for a little while, you know I've started on this a number of times. And I've had to go and restart. I've had to cut characters out. And none of this feels like it's over the top for me. It feels like this is the way I write books. I'll start to get a feel for the story, get a feel for the characters, and maybe eventually, like today, I'll get deep enough into where I feel confident writing an outline. But it takes a while to get there. And I can't, even though I know I can write 1,000 to 2,000 words a day, if I can focus, that does not equal 10,000 words in 10 days. And it's kind of embarrassing that it's taken me 8 books, 6 novellas, 7 novellas. 7 novellas, 8 books, and lots of short stories to know that you just don't... This is why math and mathematicians and writers don't get along. It's the adding 1 and 1 doesn't always equal 2 when you're writing. Southpaw says, someone asked me to write their grandmother's life story, said they couldn't stand to hear the story again, but other people might find it interesting. Wow. Go talk to my grandma because she bores me and I'm tired of it is a new take on that. Kids Are Asleep says, so much brain power goes into planning a book for her, it can take months to do that alone. Yeah. Underpope asked Daryl Gregory how long it took to write his first book, and he said it took him 8 years. Well, that's another thing. I don't feel comfortable saying, well, from the idea to now, it's been X amount of time, because that implies, people get the idea of the writer getting up in the morning and getting a cup of coffee and going to their writing nook and writing for 8 hours and then going to bed and doing that for 8 years. No. It's starting and restarting and outlining and hitting walls and brainstorming and putting it down for a little while so you can just get away from it because you've started to hate it. And in the case of Station Eternity and the Ophelia Network, it could be countless rewrites. So the question of how long does it take you to write a book, I don't know anybody who can answer that. I mean, Valerie, how do you take the time? Like, if you ever think about it, do you start the clock at idea? Do you start the clock at the book sold? Okay, Kimmy just realized one of our clocks has probably not been changed. It took me too long to realize that I've been trying to figure out why the time change for daylight savings time is so much worse than it's so much worse than just 1 hour of jet lag, which you can usually get over in a day. And I think it's because everything around you stays the same. The light stays the same. The sun rises and sets at the same time, except for a little bit of axial tilt change. But you're asked to shift your life an hour. You're asked to be tired an hour earlier than you wanted to be, or that you are, and then you are forced to get up earlier, and the light is the same. And it's hard. And I think this morning was the first time I woke up where I did not feel like I was dragging myself out of bed at 7:50 to make my 8 a.m. Focus Mates appointment. Kids Are Asleep starts the clock when you actively start working on a thing. Well, what is actively start working on a thing? Is it brainstorming, writing stuff down, outlining, or word 1? I have so many ideas and pitches on standby that if I started the clock when I got the idea, every book would take years. Yeah. Someone told you instead of writing the picture book, you should have written a book about the giraffe at the local zoo. It's a really cute giraffe. Well, this is where you say you are absolutely welcome to write that book, and I think you'd do a great job because you're clearly passionate about this subject. I'm writing about what I'm passionate about. When I actively start brainstorming, when I make the notes that will become the story Bible. Okay. Yeah. I think it's when you tell all the other ideas, you have to take a back seat now. Because most of my brain is going to be focused on this problem. Problem? Story. Christian writing, hi, welcome, what did you miss? We're talking about how long it takes to write a book and how that's not a question that's really easy to answer. Because you don't go 1,000 words a day and then have a book in 100 days. Okay, Kimmy got your car back. Congratulations. Even when I was talking to a creativity coach about trying to get the Chaos Terminal edits done, and the advice was good. He was telling me, work backwards. Say how much you have left to do and how long it takes you to do that, and take the deadline and work backwards and figure out how much you need to do every day. I'm like, that all makes sense, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you how long it takes me to edit a chapter. The chapter might be fine, and I'll, get it done in 5 minutes. The chapter might need a complete rewrite and take 2 days. I can't. Some people do that, have a very specific formula they plug details into, like Mad Libs, and start and finish for them is a month or 2. Who are they, and where can I take their class? But I don't know if I'll ever be that way. I think brains work differently. So you're going to have people who need to... I feel like I'm a pig needing to get down in the mud and wallow around and see what's going on before... I don't know where the metaphor goes after that. But just allowing myself to write something big and messy and try to find a clean line through it is the thing I'm doing. You never know when you'll hit a snag that requires a weird research rabbit hole, indeed. Yeah, those are dangerous. Yeah. So I think the thing I've tried to tell myself to do is when I realize accepting that this is how I work and factoring that in. Can I say I'll have a book in 3 months because I write 1,000 words a day? No. Can I say I'll have a book in 6 months because that gives me time to stop and start and stop and start and go in the wrong direction just once to see how it feels? I still don't think I can write a book in 6 months, but you know what I mean. But it's not as neat as just cut off a piece of pie and eat it every day. It's just so much messier. Writing is in draft or write is in draft and edit? Yeah, that's another question. It took me X amount of time to go from start to finish, but then it had to go to my editor. And are you counting the times when it was with my editor and not with me? Because I'm not working through that time, but it's time that's still passing. And then the editor gives it back, and then you got to do an edit, and then you got to send it back, and then you get the copy edits, and do you stop the clock when the book comes out? Because then, even if your mind is deeply into another story, do you have, are you going to be, you still have to focus on the book that just came out because you have to promote it. So it's still in your head. Preemie doesn't have a clock to start or stop. I just go, did I hand it in when I said I'd hand it in? Good, yay! Works for me. But I'm starting to think that I'm happier mentally if I, instead of fighting against the way I naturally do things, if I just accept it and plan for it. Yes, it should be related to word count, but it's not, Preemie. Hey, Daniel. Christian Writing says, my goal is to have the rough draft of my novel manuscript done by the end of the summer. I'm working at about 600 to 1,600 words per day right now. Congratulations. Yeah, it's not related to word count. I could write 1,000 words about my story, or do a side story. If I don't know what I'm going to do, I might just write a chapter that I hope I can fit in somewhere sometime. Counting just doesn't work in this, at least for me. Like Valerie said, people might have a way of doing things and be able to plug stuff in, and I just can't. I think that's how they plot Midsomer Murders, actually. The Midsomer Murders Bot has a lot more going for it. A person is found in a very strange death situation. Suspicion falls on a specific group in Midsomer County who are angry about something else that's going on. Every time. I mean, in those groups, it could be like the local orchid club. There's a pudding club in a boys' school? I don't know what that means. I was thinking about kids' books the other day because there's a part of my brain that goes, short books equals faster writing, and then the experienced writer brain laughs and laughs and laughs. Yes. I got paid a very good per word rate for my Audible original. However, I had to rewrite it from scratch twice, and so that per word rate just got cut into thirds, and so it was like really good money for 20,000 words, not good money for 60,000 words. But that was my fault, so. Can't really blame them. Anyway, Annie, do you have a question? Do you have an answer for how long does it take you to write a book? Because I'm talking about how it's not a mathematical question. It's it depends on a whole lot of things. I've written 90,000 word books in 10 days and taken 4 years to write a 50,000 book. It seems to depend on the book for me. Okay. Tree Lobsters writes in fits and starts. I can be in the flow for days and then barely write a thing for a week. Best case, I can write a book in 6 months. I need more free time and fewer distractions. Tree Lobsters, remember, the distractions will come. You remove one distraction, another one will crop up. They're good at that. A 500-word picture book still takes many months to write, I'm sure. Okay. Well, as I said, guys, I am not fully here today. I'm going to end this for the feed now, and we're going to hang out a little bit more at the BarCon afterwards. If you would like to hang out at the BarCon with us, check out twitch.tv/MightyMur on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time now, and come hang out. Or you can subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/MightyMur, and get the full episodes without cutting. But you can find out my stuff at murverse.com. I'm Mighty Mur on most socials. I've been trying to post terrible writing advice to TikTok as Evil Mur, but that's still Mighty Mur is the username. And, yeah, I think that's it. I'm hoping to be here next week. I can't promise anything. Like I said, I got some stressful stuff coming up that might just eat my brain. But I'm going to still keep trying to get work done because I should be writing, and so should you be. I Should Be Writing is available to you under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Theme music by John Emilio. Art by Numbers Ninja. Production by Summer Brooks. And hosting by Libsyn. Find all of this information and more at murverse.com. And remember, we can't do this without you. Thanks for your support.
Doctor Who.